I love like how like guys think, especially like the Justin Baldonis of the world, to think that like crying a little bit, which of course he cries in every fucking show, but crying a little bit and having that sort of emotion. Oh, we're going to express ourselves emotionally. I express myself emotionally at Powerhouse Gym every time I'm in the fucking squat rack. Oh, hell yes, I express myself very vocally and very emotionally. God, please let me get this through. I got one more set. But that's not approved. That's not approved vulnerability. And I also saw, I was watching on I don't have the video rolled up yet, but I was watching Chris Williamson, and he was it was a clip from his 2024 What I Learned in 2024. And one of the things he was talking about was vulnerability and how only a certain class of men get to be vulnerable, right? And he used Chris Bumstead as his example. And I think he was the one who had this quote. He says, women always say, and pussy ass sneaky fuckers always say that, vulnerability is a strength, but the average guy cannot be vulnerable. He can't sleep on his fucking couch, at 2 in the afternoon. He can't be vulnerable. He hasn't earned that vulnerability. He has to be bulletproof. He has to make more money. He has to be is Bumstead like the number one bodybuilder?
Yeah.
This era.
Right now,
he's
won.
He's won the Mr. O 6 times.
I think it's 6 or 5. I'm not exactly.
But not IFBB. I know Hide Yamagishi won it in 2023.
Yeah, he's in classic. Not
Oh, okay, because he's older.
Well, no, it's not the older. I don't know if it's classic. What is it? I think it's classic physique. Yeah. Instead of being in the actual open.
Okay,
so
open. So he's not in the same class as Ronnie Coleman.
No.
Okay,
because that's open.
Okay.
Yeah, IFBB classic.
I don't know how they classify the shit now. I know because like my friend Alvaro is in he's in like the swimwear physique or the fitness. There's like different categories, I guess, now too. He like dominates that. He would never be able to touch like the bodybuilding side though. But anyway, so Bumstead was talking about how like everybody loves to toss out vulnerability, but he was saying the only way that you get to be vulnerable is if you earn enough man points to be vulnerable, right? You have to make more money than her. You have to be in better shape than her. You got to be 6 feet tall, 6 fat calves. You have to have so much for you to be vulnerable. But the guys who are vulnerable, who are just average, regular, plain, no look guys, though they're punished for that. They're punished for vulnerability, and because women like. As much as they would like to for a guy to be vulnerable, it comes with conditions. If you are, I put it this way, and I don't know if Chris Williamson would ever fucking accept this, but the reason I like Bumstead is on to something. I think there's sort of a prestige factor that goes into this. But when I was writing about vulnerability back in my second book, I put it this way. I said, look, if your personality type or your personality is predominantly alpha and your girlfriend, you happen to have that one moment of vulnerability with your girlfriend is over the fucking moon because she thinks she's the only one that can drag that out of you. Oh, he was vulnerable. He must love me. He broke down in tears and told me about when his cat died that one time. Right. So I agree. And there has to be sort of cool guy points, right? You have to have a certain amount of gravitas as a guy for that vulnerability to work in your favor. Otherwise, it doesn't. You're just this blubbering fucking idiot. You're the CVS employee who stocks the shelves and you're crying. Not attractive. And I think the thing that rubs people the wrong. So here's what rubs people the wrong way. And getting back to the point for today's topic is guys think that wearing vulnerability on their sleeves is a way to identify with the feminine. It's men saying, well, women want guys who can cry on demand. Women want guys who are more emotionally available. Women want guys who have emotional intelligence, which is horseshit. Women want guys who tell the truth, but they don't want full disclosure. They want men who are more like women. Like if you ask women what do you want in a guy, they're going to get to the point where that dude is going to sound more like a girl. To be a more perfected man is to be just like a chick, which is completely opposite of what they want. But it's they want that familiarity. And like I said before, people hate me when I say this, but women have boyfriends and girlfriends. If you're not fucking her, you're her girlfriend. People get really offended when I say that. But how did I come to that conclusion is that when guys start acting like women and they start behaving more feminine and they get in touch with their female side and they get sand in the right and they start communicating and identifying with the feminine so thoroughly that a woman's subconscious or psyche or hindbrain hears a woman when that guy talks. When that guy's communicating, he's speaking the language of emotionalism. He's not speaking the overt, direct language of empiricism, which is what guys tend to default to, right? Men and women communicate differently. Men focus on content, information. What I'm talking to you right now, I'm giving you information and we're getting feedback. And how do we kill the woolly mammoth? How do we build a bridge? How do we move to the next territory and fight that tribe? How do we do this? Hey, it's process, it's information, it's data exchange. And then we might worry about how it makes us feel. Women, on the other hand, focus on feelings and emotionalism, and they love and they enjoy the act of communication. Women have a much greater facility with communication. They get more out of it. There's body language, there is subcommunications, there is vocal intonations, there's facial expressions, there's what did you wear to the fucking club that night? Then there's the actual communications. And when women talk, they talk face to face. When men talk, we talk like this, looking out at the world, and we're looking at, hey, what do you think of the game here, Jim? Men communicate differently. So when a man starts to communicate like a woman and using women's communication styles and using the language of women, a woman's hindbrain sees that guy as another woman, as a girlfriend. If you're not fucking her, you are her girlfriend. That's why when I made the comparison to when a guy's in the friend zone, that is an analogous situation to friends with benefits for a fuck buddy. Because one is all the emotional support and all this emotional investment and all of this identification and sensitivity and being a good listener with no sex expected whatsoever. And then the opposite for a fuck buddy is nothing but fucking hot monkey sex on demand with no emotional investment whatsoever. They are parallels to one another. So the friend zone is the opposite, or is the inverse of fuck buddies, of friends with benefits. And the sooner you figure that out, the sooner you'll get out of the friend zone. Because it's a dead end. You're never going to fuck her. So she still won't fuck you, Roy. But no, the emotional, like, I'm going to be more like her. I'm going to be a male feminist. I'm going to identify more with the feminine. I'm going to be a good listener. I'm going to listen to what she says and do what she wants me to do. I'm going to give up all those things that she says I should give up. I'm going to give up my hobbies. I'm going to change my life and change my personality and change my very identity to be what she expects of me, because that seems the most, you're just using male deductive bonehead logic, right? Men are problem solvers. What's the problem? I want to get laid. Okay, what do I have to do? Let's go ask the chicks. That seems the most logical thing. Let's ask women, what do you want in a man? He's got to be loyal and he's got to love me and he's got to be a Fortune 500 and all this stuff what Alex was saying. He's got to be good with puppy dogs. He's got to want children. My mom has to like him. My sister has to like him. My dad has to like him. He has to have a good job. He has to be educated. He has to be intelligent. He has to have all the blah, 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 right? All right, on down. But he has to be a good listener. He has to be vulnerable. He has to be emotionally available. Okay, cool. I know what I need to do. I'm going to do all those things, and I'm going to be a fucking champion at doing those things. And you know what those guys find out? That is exactly the polar opposite of what the chick wants. Then she fucks the guy who's like Tinder swindler. Then she fucks the guy who's Bad boy. Then she fucks Jake Cope. Then she fucks the drummer in the band. That's what she does. Broke ass fucking drummer in a band. That's who she fucks. God damn it. More power to him. You learn the secret of Jake, you will learn the secret of the universe. I'm still trying to get him to tell me. Yes. No, she'll go out with the guy who fucking rocks her world, man. The guy who is emotionally unavailable, the guy who is unwilling to commit, the guy who her parents fucking hate. Yeah, exactly the opposite. So that's why I keep saying, like, I can't even believe I'm still having this conversation in 2025, right? Because I remember listening to this when I was reading this book. It was a fantastic book. And this is, people want to say, Rolo, what's your top 5 books? 48 Laws of Power is always going to be on there. My books, please go buy them on Amazon. On that list is a book by Dr. Warren Farrell. I don't know he's not the greatest, he's not the most masculine guy in the world, but he did write a fantastic book one time in the late 80s. And it was called Why Men Are the Way They Are. And that book was probably one of the catalysts for me thinking differently about men and women, because up until that point, I was doing exactly what the rest of these guys were doing. I was very much blue pill, and I was like, well, how can I be more like a woman? How can I be more alike? Because I thought likes attract. I thought likes, well, you got to have more in common. You have to be compatible. You have to be in touch with your emotions. You have to support her mission. You have to support her. You have to lift her up. She must become more. You must become less. And then at the same time, you still have to be a servant leader and everything else, right? That's the paradox. But I thought the same thing. I didn't even know it was sneaky fucker game. I just thought seemed like the most logical solution between point A and point B. I want to fuck. I have to find out what women want so that I can fuck them. I become like them. I do what they want me to do, and then I'm going to get fucked. Then I'm going to get laid. That's the male deductive. We're problem solvers. That's male. It follows the deductive logic, right? But as we know, there's no deductive logic with. That's why we call it the rational male and not the rational female.